Madam Secretary, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, thank you very much for attending this special event. It is my true honor and pleasure to welcome the Honorable Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State of the United States, in her dual capacity as a State Secretary and, let me say, Madam, as a neighbor. We are so happy to have with us tonight so many distinguished guests, members of the US Congress, administration, the diplomatic corps, the business community, veterans, and my fellow Polish Americans. We'll also have with us later tonight the Macedonian Foreign Minister, Honorable Nikola Popovsky. I also wish to warmly welcome my dear guests, the Holocaust survivors, Charlene Shih, Anya and Marcy Grimmer, and others. You know you have always been in my heart, and I was so glad to have been able to join you together on Monday at the Holocaust Museum, where we together listened to magnificent news from President Obama on Mandela Freedom, the highest civilian decoration in the United States. I would like also to say a word from my foreign minister, Mr. Radosław Sikorski. He deeply regrets he could not join us today. Unfortunately, other engagements kept him in Poland. But he is thinking about us, and I spoke with him today, and I know this directly from him. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we celebrate the anniversary of Poland's My Third Constitution of 1791. Adopted only 4 years after the US Constitution, it was the first such document in Europe. The US Constitution came out of the American fight for independence. Poles like General Tadeusz Kościuszko and Kazimierz Pulaski joined the struggle. We had a fight similar to yours, but with a different outcome, unfortunately. You won your liberty, we lost ours, and were wiped off the map of Europe for 120 years. But that formative experience left us with shared passion for freedom, democracy, and human rights. This has been imprinted in our DNA, and this is what Poles and Americans share. Today's Poland is in the mainstream of European integration. We are a solid link of the transatlantic alliance. Poland's economy continues to grow despite adverse global circumstances. We are becoming known as a country that creates solutions. Poland-US relations have also thrived. We have worked together closely to keep NATO strong and relevant to the security of our transatlantic community. We look forward to the upcoming NATO summit in Chicago. It will be an opportunity to strengthen our transatlantic alliance. Madam Secretary, thank you very much for your commitment, for your creativity, and for your support for the developing Polish-American relations. Ladies and gentlemen, today's celebration of Poland's national holiday coincides with the official opening of this new residence, a new home of the Polish ambassadors in Washington, D.C. We took efforts to maintain the building's traditional character and style. Without major changes to the exterior, we've changed a lot inside of the house. I hope you will agree that we struck a good balance between the old and the new. I must say that when I was beginning my term as ambassador in 2008, I was ready and I was prepared to take on the US Congress, the US administration, even the famous bureaucracies of Washington. But I must say, I got no warning of what it takes to renovate a historic building. And believe me, my colleagues put on my speaking points a long pause after this sentence. But you know very well that in real estate, location is everything. But not only in real estate, also in diplomacy, because all diplomacy is local. This is especially true for this house and for this great neighborhood. Close by there are residences of Vice President, the Secretary of State, many foreign representations, including Italian, Danish, and British. And what crossed my mind was the idea that perhaps we should change the name of this trip from White Heaven to Diplomatic Heaven, because it may look like we are in paradise. I think you will agree with me that we have picked the best possible place because we have great neighbors and great neighborhood. So, Madam Secretary, if you ever find yourself in need of borrowing a cup of sugar, you know that. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, although I might be the newest kid in the block, I would like to share with you the piece of message. This is also my advanced farewell party. In July, I will be returning to Poland to take up my new responsibilities. I wanted to use this occasion a little bit early, but nevertheless, from the bottom of my heart, to thank you for all your cooperation, your partnership, and your friendship. I will have fond memories of the time I spent here in the United States, and believe me or not, also in Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, once again, thank you very much for coming. I hope you will enjoy the evening. And now it is my great honor to yield the floor to the U.S. Secretary of State, Honorable Hillary Rodham Clinton. Madam Secretary, you have the floor.
Well, this is kind of the equivalent of a block party held for a very good and auspicious reason to not only celebrate the formal opening of this new residence for the ambassador from Poland to the United States, but also to mark the Poland's Constitution Day a little bit early, but a good occasion to do so. And so, Ambassador, we are very grateful to be your guests here this evening. And I, too, shared the excitement about the President's announcement regarding Jan Karski and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. What a fitting tribute and a great way of acknowledging the contributions of a very special man. I'm also looking forward to welcoming my counterpart, Minister Sikorsky, who could not be with us tonight, but I also heard from him, along with your president, to the NATO summit in Chicago, which has the distinction, as you're well aware, of being the second largest Polish city in the world. So we will be especially pleased to have the leaders of a dynamic, democratic, free, prosperous, increasingly significant Poland in Chicago. And I'm sure there'll be opportunity for some interactions with the Polish-American community. I want to make just three serious points. As the ambassador said, our quest for freedom goes back together to the late 18th century. We, of course, were fortunate in being able to not only seek but establish our freedom at an early time, so that we now are the oldest continuous democracy in the world. Poland's history was much more challenging over the course of the succeeding years. And that is why it is especially fitting and so satisfying to see Poland today, to see the extraordinary progress that the Polish people have made, to see their resilience rewarded. The diplomatic relations between our two countries stretches back nearly a century, but the ties between Polish and American people go back much, much further. Today we are close allies, working together on everything from defense to sustainable energy to innovation to information technology. And Poland does play a critical role, not only within Europe and the Euro-Atlantic Alliance, but globally in helping us address some of the most pressing challenges of our time. And we continue to cherish our person-to-person ties, the great connections of family and friendship, culture, history, ideals, and values that truly binds us together. So I am delighted to be among the many here tonight who are not only congratulating you on surviving the real estate issues incumbent upon renovating an old house, dealing with contractors. You've survived that. You can survive whatever your next assignment might be, Ambassador. But also to acknowledge in front of Polish media and so many friends of Poland how highly we value this relationship, how much we look to Polish leadership, not only in diplomacy, but in economic matters, in cultural and other issues, and to look forward to the next century of our close ties and working relationship. We are very much looking forward to our trip to Chicago, to the exchange of ideas and the charting of the path forward for NATO. Poland is one of the critical members of NATO, the most successful alliance in the history of the world. Poland has stood with us in Afghanistan. Polish soldiers have sacrificed their lives. We really rely on Poland. And I am just one of the many people in the Obama administration who are grateful for the leadership that we see coming from Poland in Europe, and that we expect to see helping so many places as they struggle to realize democracy. Poland ended just a few months ago its presidency of the European Union. And during that presidency, the Arab awakening occurred. And it was quite touching to me that in speaking with many of the activists from Egypt to Libya to Tunisia to beyond about what they needed to understand the path ahead of them, they were very grateful for the example and the support of the United States. But they were particularly interested in working with countries like yours that had been, in the recent years, able to achieve the solidarity necessary to chart their own course. They wanted to hear from Polish activists, Polish lawmakers, Polish diplomats, Polish business people. And that was a great vote of validation to what you have achieved. So it may not have worked at the end of the 18th century, but in the 21st century, the future and potential of Poland, in my view, is limitless. So welcome to the neighborhood. I will reciprocate your offer. If you need, it would seem probably a bushel of sugar, just come on over. I'll do the best I can. We'll take up a collection along the street. But we are very proud to have you representing your great country here in this neighborhood, here in this city, and here working with us side by side for the kind of future we both seek. Thank you, Ambassador.